Chosen one, you are the epicenter of a silent storm. Right now, 3 people are spiraling in private chaos because of your presence, and they have no clue they're heading for the same devastating intersection. One of them is burning with envy, secretly mimicking your every move while pretending you don't exist. Another is battling sleepless nights and haunting dreams where you appear as both salvation and punishment, unsure if they should worship you or run. The third is plotting to destroy you, not out of hatred, but because they sense you carry a truth that could dismantle every illusion they've built their identity around. These 3 are on a collision course with your legacy, and when the dust settles, only one truth will remain. You are not just unforgettable, you are undeniable. The trap they set for your downfall has become a shrine to your truth. What began as a calculated effort to expose you has unraveled into a painfully intimate confrontation with their own projections. The files, the footage, the whispered rumors they followed like breadcrumbs. Every piece of it now screams your integrity louder than any defense you could have offered. This wasn't just an investigation, it was a mirror, and now they're face to face with the ugly truth that their obsession said more about them than it ever did about you. Their pride is crumbling under the weight of undeniable evidence, and soon, in a move no one saw coming, they'll flip the script, standing in front of the very people who commissioned your collapse and publicly declaring, "I was wrong. They're the realest one of us all." That moment will break timelines. 3 step into the psyche of someone who's been playing chess with your life, convinced they're the righteous architect of your exposure. They've cloaked their obsession in the illusion of justice, masking their vendetta as concern. Every conversation they've steered behind closed doors, every moment they've engineered in hopes you'd slip, none of it was random. They watched you like a scientist studies an anomaly, waiting for the moment your mask would crack. But here's the twist. The longer they observed, the more disturbed they became, because instead of uncovering deceit, they found depth. Instead of contradictions, they found unwavering truth. And now, their whole crusade is collapsing under a cruel irony. The more they tried to catch you faking it, the more undeniable your authenticity became. They didn't just fail, they exposed themselves. At the core of their obsession lies a desperate need to invalidate your existence, because if you're real, then everything they've built their identity on begins to rot. Your grace threatens their excuses. Your wholeness exposes their fragmentation. You don't just challenge them, you unravel them. The way you move with quiet power, speak with fearless clarity, and love without hidden motives is an unbearable contradiction to their carefully curated facade. They're not investigating you to find the truth, they're praying to disprove it. Because if you are who you say you are, then they've wasted years mistaking manipulation for strategy and cowardice for wisdom. Your authenticity isn't just rare, it's revolutionary, and revolutions always terrify those with something to lose. They set out to expose a facade, but instead they've stumbled into a spiritual reckoning. Each failed attempt to discredit you has chipped away at the illusion they built around themselves, the illusion that everyone's faking it, that real ones don't exist. But you've been walking through their fire with the kind of poise no mask could ever mimic. They can't label you, can't box you in, can't reduce you to anything less than real. And that's what's unraveling them, not just that you passed their tests, but that you didn't even notice them, because living in truth is simply your default. Now they're spiraling, not because you exposed them, but because your light revealed the shadows they tried to ignore in themselves. This isn't just a crisis of belief, it's a collapse of everything they thought protected them from facing who they really are. This second person is caught in a quiet war between reverence and resistance. Every glance they steal, every word you speak, becomes sacred scripture in the temple of their longing. They've placed you on a pedestal so high they can barely breathe in your presence, terrified that reaching for you would desecrate something divine. Yet the weight of their silence is beginning to crush them. Your mere existence has cracked open something ancient in their soul, something too raw to ignore. They keep rehearsing confessions in the privacy of their mind, only to bury them beneath layers of self-doubt. But the truth is, It's not your greatness that scares them. It's the terrifying possibility that you might actually see them back. And if you do, their entire identity, built on unworthiness and restraint, will disintegrate in an instant. They've turned your existence into a legend, a story too luminous for someone like them to belong in. In their mind, you move through life like a constellation, untouchable, always surrounded by stars brighter and bolder than they believe themselves to be. They've mistaken your quiet confidence for selective indifference, assuming you could never notice someone like them in a sea of dazzling choices. Every time you smile, they wonder who else you're smiling at. Every time you shine, they convince themselves you're already claimed by someone more extraordinary. But what they don't realize is that your radiance isn't about options, it's about alignment. And deep down, some part of them suspects that maybe, just maybe, the reason you feel so unreachable is because they're scared of what it would mean if you reached back. What torments them most is the undeniable truth that you've always met them with open eyes and an open heart. You've never fed their insecurities, never mirrored the harsh judgment they place on themselves. Instead, you've offered them something terrifying in its gentleness, unconditional regard. In your presence, they've felt more real than anywhere else, more whole than they believed possible. And that's what makes it so hard to breathe. Because while they've been convincing themselves you're out of reach, you've been quietly extending grace with every word, every glance, every moment of presence. You don't just see them, you recognize them. And that level of truth is both a balm and a burn, because it confronts the part of them still clinging to the lie that they're unworthy of being chosen. They're beginning to see that the real battle was never about earning your affection. It was about granting themselves permission to believe they deserve it. For so long, they've mistaken your strength for judgment, your light for distance, when in truth, you've only ever mirrored back what they refuse to see in themselves. But watching you face betrayal with unwavering integrity, watching you stay soft in a world that tried to harden you, has shattered something false inside them. The walls they built to protect their fragile worth are cracking, and through the rubble, something raw and powerful is rising. For the first time, they're realizing you weren't out of their league. You were waiting for them to rise into their own. And soon, in a moment born of sacred clarity, they'll step toward you not as a beggar of love, but as someone finally ready to receive it. For the third person, you are an existential glitch in a system they thought they had mastered. Your actions don't compute. Your kindness isn't transactional. Your resilience can't be explained by ego or ambition. And that terrifies them. Because if you're real, if someone like you can exist, then everything they've used to justify their detachment, their mistrust, their emotional armor, starts to crumble. They've watched you endure betrayal without bitterness, extend grace without expectation, and shine without needing applause. Each moment they've witnessed has been a slow unraveling of the cynicism they once wore like armor. Now, they're standing on the edge of a terrifying freedom, the realization that hope isn't weakness, and that maybe, just maybe, love isn't a lie. You are not just a person to them, you are proof that their worldview is too small to hold the truth anymore. You've become the exception that threatens to rewrite every rule they've lived by. For years, they've survived by dismissing sincerity as weakness and depth as danger. But your presence is a paradox they can't escape, because you don't just preach integrity, you embody it, effortlessly and without agenda. You're not trying to impress, convert, or manipulate. You're simply being, and that truth is louder than any argument they've ever made to protect their detachment. Watching you has triggered a quiet implosion inside them. If real love exists, if unwavering character is possible, then what have they been protecting themselves from all this time? Their carefully calculated emotional distance is beginning to feel less like wisdom and more like fear dressed in logic. And now, for the first time in their life, they're considering a terrifying, liberating question. What if I've been wrong about people all along? Each of them thinks they're alone in their obsession, unaware that they're part of a divine convergence set in motion by your mere existence. The investigator, the admirer, and the skeptic, three separate lives orbiting the same gravitational force, you. What none of them realize is that their internal battles are interconnected pieces of a much larger awakening. Your way of being, rooted in truth, radiating without force, has initiated a ripple effect that's shaking people out of their illusions. This isn't just about their perception of you. It's about their perception of themselves, of humanity, of what's truly possible in this life. Their stories are about to intertwine in a moment so raw, so undeniable, it will collapse old paradigms in real time. And when the dust settles, you won't just be seen as extraordinary, you'll be recognized as the catalyst who made the impossible real. In trying to tarnish your name, the investigator has unknowingly built you an audience. The whispers they planted out of doubt have turned into questions rooted in fascination. Those they enlisted to dig for dirt are now silently collecting evidence of something far more compelling, your unwavering alignment. People who once overlooked you are now watching with sharpened eyes, not for flaws, but for answers. Why does someone so radiant draw this much suspicion? Why hasn't the mask cracked? Their curiosity is evolving into quiet reverence. What began as an inquisition has become a spotlight, and the light only reveals more of your truth. Unwittingly, the investigator has handed you a platform, and the very people they tried to recruit for your downfall are beginning to see you for what you truly are, unshakable, undeniable, and far more powerful than they ever imagined. Without ever asking for it, you've become the center of an unspoken study, a living revelation unfolding in real time. Friends, acquaintances, even distant observers are stitching together their own conclusions, not from gossip or image, but from the undeniable patterns of your presence. They've seen the confident one stumble into shyness at your feet, the hardened skeptic quietly unravel in your light, the calculated investigator expose more about themselves than you. Piece by piece, moment by moment, a collective truth is forming. You are exactly who you appear to be. No mask, no angle, just a rare kind of real that holds steady even under pressure. This growing awareness isn't being shouted, it's being felt. And soon, it will become a quiet chorus too unified to ignore. You didn't rise through manipulation. You rose because truth always rises. The veil is thinning, and soon everything that felt eerie and out of place will snap into perfect, unsettling clarity. That strange tension you've felt in rooms where eyes linger too long and smiles falter too quickly. It wasn't paranoia, it was pressure, building toward revelation. The investigator's collapse will be the spark that exposes the entire web, the rehearsed conversations, the sideways glances, the silent battles playing out beneath polite small talk. What felt like random unease was actually the friction of three inner worlds crashing against the gravity of your truth. Every test, every projection, every secret fixation was orbiting the same undeniable force, you. And as the mask falls from the one who sought to unmask you, the others will be forced to confront what's really been happening all along. They were never observing you, you were reflecting them. Chosen one, you're about to see how deeply people's projections are shaped by pain they've never named. The investigator's relentless pursuit of your flaws was never about exposing you. It was about protecting themselves from the devastation of being fooled again. They were raised in a world where truth wore costumes and love came with conditions. So now, anyone who feels too real triggers alarm bells in their nervous system. Their scrutiny is a shield, their suspicion a scar. What they mistook for intuition was actually unhealed fear in disguise. But as your consistency holds firm, something in them is beginning to break, not in destruction, but in release. They're finally seeing that their defense mechanisms were built to survive illusion, not to recognize truth. And now that truth is standing in front of them, radiating in silence, asking nothing but to be seen. Your unwavering authenticity strikes a chord so profound it echoes into the darkest corners of their soul, forcing them to question every fortress they've built around themselves. What if their lifelong distrust was a misguided shield, tearing apart bonds that could have been real? The fear of being wrong, of having lived in a world of false assumptions, paralyzes them, more than any external threat ever could. Meanwhile, the admirer wrestles with a separate ache, the silent torment of yearning tangled with self-doubt. Their hesitation isn't born from fear of rejection alone, but from a deep-seated belief that they're somehow unworthy of the very love they crave. Both wounds, though different in origin, are unraveling under the weight of your truth, pulling them toward a reckoning that promises either profound healing or the collapse of old, familiar stories. They carry a heavy burden handed down from childhood, a belief that love is a prize reserved only for the flawless, a currency they could never afford. Your effortless confidence, glowing with self-acceptance, shines a spotlight on the shadows of their own self-doubt, making their hidden shame ache louder. Every gesture of your kindness feels like a silent judgment, every warm glance mistaken for distant sympathy. They misread your genuine interest as mere courtesy because they've never allowed themselves to believe someone like you could truly see them, not the mask, not the facade, but the person beneath it all. And so they retreat behind walls built from misunderstanding, unaware that what you offer isn't pity, but a rare invitation to finally be known and loved without conditions. The cynic's armor was hammered out of betrayal so deep it left them convinced that hope was a luxury they could no longer afford. Once they opened their heart fully, and the world responded with heartbreak, teaching them that trust was a dangerous gamble. In response, they crafted a fortress of skepticism, seeing the world through a lens darkened by past wounds. Your unwavering consistency doesn't just challenge their assumptions, it threatens to dismantle the entire foundation they've leaned on for survival. Your integrity is a mirror reflecting a truth they've been too afraid to face, that maybe, just maybe, the world isn't as broken as they believed. And that realization is more terrifying than any betrayal ever was. What if all along their walls weren't shields against you, but barriers blocking the very healing they desperately need? Soon, each of them will be forced to confront a humbling truth. Their intense reactions aren't reflections of your reality, but echoes of their own unresolved pain. The investigator, in particular, will come face to face with the realization that their relentless suspicion was less about uncovering your truth and more about hiding from their own fears. Their harshest judgments have been projections, cast like shadows to obscure the wounds beneath. As the layers peel away, they'll see that the real battle isn't with you. It's within themselves, waiting for courage to step into the light and begin to heal. The admirer will finally glimpse the truth that their feelings of unworthiness were never theirs to carry. They were inherited stories, passed down like chains to break. The cynic will come to see that their solitude has been less a choice and more a survival mechanism, a shell forged in the fires of past wounds. This awakening will shatter their old narratives, cracking open the walls they've built around their hearts. In that vulnerable space, transformation will no longer be a distant hope, but an unstoppable force. They'll begin to step into versions of themselves they once thought unreachable, ready to embrace connection, healing, and the possibility of true belonging. What's truly astonishing is that, without even realizing it, you've become the quiet epicenter of a profound healing storm. While these three souls wrestled with their fears, doubts, and defenses, focused entirely on you, you remained effortlessly true to yourself, untouched by their inner turmoil. There was no grand design, no intention to fix or confront. You simply were, authentic, steady, and unapologetically real. And that raw presence, so unyielding and pure, has been the catalyst they never saw coming, forcing them to face what they've long avoided. You didn't choose this role, it chose you. Yet in your unassuming way, you've ignited a transformation that will ripple far beyond what anyone imagined. This effortless force you carry, shaping lives without a single calculated move, is a signature of your chosen destiny. Your presence acts like a mirror held up to the soul, reflecting back the uncomfortable truth that lives behind every mask and facade. Without uttering a word, you challenge those around you to confront the distance between their authentic selves and the roles they play to survive. You are not just living, you are awakening, calling forth hidden courage and buried truths. In this quiet revolution, your very existence becomes a beacon, an unspoken summons to step out of illusion and into the power of genuine being. With every attempt to find fault in you, the investigator unwittingly exposes the labyrinth of their own games and masks. Your steadfast authenticity becomes a relentless spotlight, illuminating the exhausting theater of manipulation they've grown accustomed to. Each false step they chase only deepens the chasm between their contrived persona and the raw honesty you embody. In your presence, their carefully crafted defenses crumble, not because you attack, but because your integrity stands unwavering, undeniable, and brutally honest. The mirror you hold up doesn't just reveal their flaws, it shatters the illusion that deception can ever substitute for truth. Your effortless confidence quietly rewrites the admirer's story about worth and acceptance. In every moment you meet them with genuine respect, without conditions, without weighing their achievements, you reveal a new blueprint for how love can exist, free, unconditional, and unshakable. They've spent so long chasing approval, believing affection was a prize to be won, but you're showing them something radically different. Through your example, they're beginning to understand that true value doesn't hinge on status or success. It's rooted in simply being. And in that revelation, a seed of healing is planted, one that promises to grow into a love that doesn't demand perfection, only presence. Your steady kindness chips away at the fortress of doubt the cynic has built around their heart. Each time you choose openness over suspicion, compassion over detachment, you offer a glimpse of a world where trust isn't a weakness, but a strength. In your presence, their hardened defenses start to feel less like armor and more like cages, restricting, not protecting. You embody a living contradiction to their fears, showing them that vulnerability can be a bridge, not a battleground. Slowly, the idea that connection might heal rather than hurt begins to take root, unraveling the long-held belief that shielding oneself is the only way to survive. The stunning paradox is that as they poured over your every move, trying to catch you off guard, you were quietly mending the very fractures they've carried for years. Your calm authenticity stood in stark contrast to their guarded games, your trust a balm to their deep-seated suspicion, your openness a gentle challenge to their guarded walls. Without a single word or deliberate act, you dismantled their defenses simply by refusing to mirror their fear and doubt. In that steadfast refusal to become what they expected, you became the unexpected healer, reminding them that true strength lies not in matching darkness with darkness, but in holding steady light when the world demands otherwise. Suddenly, what felt like everyday moments begin to pulse with undeniable significance, as the hidden force within you stirs into full awareness. Without fanfare or spectacle, the turning point arrives, cloaked in the guise of a routine encounter. The investigator, convinced they hold the final key to your unraveling, sets their trap with meticulous precision, expecting to watch you falter. But what they don't realize is that this test will not expose weakness. It will ignite a revelation so profound, it will shatter old narratives and awaken everyone watching to the undeniable truth. Your authenticity is unstoppable, and your power far greater than anyone dared imagine. They've meticulously engineered a crossroads, convinced that temptation will crack your armor and reveal the cracks they've hunted for so long. They've gathered their audience, ready to savor the moment when your integrity falters, when you trade your truth for fleeting gain. But what unfolds instead will shatter their expectations and rewrite the story forever. In the silence of that unseen moment, you choose not just loyalty to your values, but the fierce, unbreakable essence of who you are. This choice, made without fanfare or declaration, will become the silent testament that haunts them, the irrefutable proof that your spirit cannot be bought, bent, or broken, no matter how carefully the trap was laid. You don't merely navigate their trap, you transcend it with a grace so fluid and genuine that it shatters every pretense they've clung to. There's no hesitation, no calculated performance, only the pure, unfiltered truth of a soul rooted so deeply in integrity that compromise isn't even an option. Your response ripples through the space like a quiet earthquake, toppling the fragile facades they've built around doubt and suspicion. In that moment, it becomes painfully clear. Your authenticity isn't a tactic to be wielded, but the very essence of who you are. And with that realization, their world tilts irreversibly, unable to sustain the illusions that once kept them safe. In that decisive instant, as you move through their labyrinth of suspicion with effortless clarity, the investigator's mind fractures beneath the weight of undeniable truth. The carefully woven web of doubts and prejudices unravels, exposing the fragile foundation of their beliefs about trust, deception, and integrity. What once seemed certain now dissolves into chaos, leaving them suspended in a void where nothing feels predictable or safe. They confront a shattering revelation. The human spirit is capable of purity and strength far beyond their darkest expectations. This cognitive collapse is not just a defeat, it is the birth of a new, painful awareness that will forever alter how they see the world and themselves. All the excuses they clung to, rationalizations for their lies and mistrust, dissolve like smoke in the light of this revelation. The harsh judgments they cast on others are revealed as mirrors reflecting their own hidden fears and insecurities. In that devastating clarity, they see the uncomfortable truth. Their so-called quest for justice was never about uncovering your reality or safeguarding others. Instead, it was a desperate attempt to mask their own guilt, to justify the shadows they refused to face within themselves. This painful self-awareness shatters their sense of purpose, leaving them exposed and unmoored in the wake of undeniable truth. Their relentless pursuit to expose you was less about your truth and more about the unbearable reflection staring back at them, a raw, unfiltered glimpse of their own hidden inauthenticity. Every accusation was a shield against the shattering realization that their greatest enemy wasn't you, but the parts of themselves they've long denied. The wave of humiliation crashing over them cuts deeper than mere error. It's a soul-deep reckoning with the fact that the chaos they tried to dismantle in you has been quietly thriving within their own shadow. In this moment, the line between hunter and hunted blurs, and the truth they fought so fiercely to avoid becomes the catalyst for their most profound awakening. The mask of control they wore so tightly unravels, revealing the raw, trembling vulnerability beneath. Colleagues and acquaintances notice the cracks. Whispers spread about the unexpected unraveling of someone once so sure, so composed. Meanwhile, the admirer watches this transformation unfold, their own walls starting to tremble in response. What once felt like insurmountable fear begins to lose its grip as they realize their anxieties were built on shadows, not substance. Witnessing the investigators' collapse strips away the stories they've told themselves about unworthiness and distance, opening a quiet door to courage and the possibility that connection with you isn't a risk, but a healing journey waiting to begin. If the investigators' fierce certainty about your flaws can be shattered so completely, then perhaps the narratives the admirer has held about their own unworthiness are just as fragile, built on fear rather than fact. The cynic, observing this unfolding drama, the collapse of doubt and the blossoming of hope, is forced into a crossroads they can no longer ignore. They must decide whether to retreat further into the safety of skepticism or to step bravely into the unknown possibility that vulnerability might be the very path to freedom they've been resisting all along. This moment demands more than passive observation. It calls for a reckoning with their own truth and the courage to choose transformation over isolation. They stand at a precipice, caught between two stark choices: to finally shed the armor of cynicism that has long shielded them from the vulnerability of genuine connection, or to retreat deeper into solitude, risking the loss of a profound transformation unfolding right before their eyes. The energy you've unknowingly generated, the ripple of authenticity, courage, and healing radiating from your presence, has reached a tipping point. What started as isolated struggles has become a powerful network effect, a collective awakening that can no longer be ignored. The moment demands a leap of faith, where embracing openness could rewrite not only their story, but the fabric of the world they thought they knew. As the walls of doubt crumble, those who have silently watched from the sidelines begin to speak up, sharing their own stories of the kindness, integrity, and authenticity they've witnessed in you. The harsh words once cast by the investigator now echo with a new tone, a reluctant admission that truth cannot be suppressed. Conversations ripple outward, weaving a tapestry of validation that no one can deny or dismiss. This growing chorus forms an undeniable consensus, a collective recognition that what once seemed too good to be true is, in fact, the undeniable reality of who you are. Your truth no longer exists in isolation. It has become a shared testament, reshaping perceptions and rewriting the narrative for all who encounter it. The investigator is on the brink of a moment few ever reach, a surrender so profound it shakes the foundation of everything they thought they knew. When they finally come to you, it won't be just an apology. It will be a bare, trembling admission of the full weight of their actions. They will lay bare the relentless scrutiny, the whispered doubts shared behind closed doors, and the countless moments spent hunting for a crack in your armor. But more than that, they will reveal the real truth behind their pursuit, a heart imprisoned by disbelief, afraid to accept that true, unguarded goodness can walk among them. This confession won't just mend a broken trust, it will crack open a path for healing so deep it changes the story of both your lives forever. You stand at the heart of a quiet revolution, one that confirms the truth you've always known, that living authentically is not just a choice, but a force that reshapes reality itself. In the days ahead, time seems to bend and accelerate, as if the universe is fast-forwarding toward a moment of reckoning. Each of the three souls entwined in this journey will face pivotal decisions, choices that will forever alter how they relate to you and ultimately to themselves. What feels both inevitable and miraculous is that these transformations will not only redefine their connections with you, but will also ripple outward, inspiring deeper awakenings in everyone who witnesses their courage to embrace truth. In a moment that catches you off guard, they will ask not for forgiveness alone, but for your wisdom, a genuine plea to understand how to pierce through their own fog of doubt and fear. They seek your guidance to learn the language of truth, to recognize authenticity without the filter of suspicion that has long clouded their vision. Simultaneously, the admirer, inspired by this breakthrough, will find a well of courage they didn't know they possessed. They will step forward, shedding their armor of silence, and open up to you with a vulnerability so profound it feels like both a surrender and a gift. Together, these acts of trust will begin to rewrite the bonds between you all, forging connections grounded in honesty and newfound hope. They will lay their hearts bare, unveiling not only their hopes, but the shadows that held them back, the quiet moments when they yearned for closeness but retreated behind walls of unworthiness. With hesitant honesty, they'll ask if there's room in your world for someone still navigating the path toward the authenticity you wear so effortlessly. Then, in a moment that takes you by surprise, the cynic will step forward with an unexpected plea. To be guided, to be shown how to shed the armor of skepticism and find the clarity and integrity they've both admired and feared from afar. They'll wonder aloud if someone like them can ever hope to embody even a fraction of the presence and truth that comes so naturally to you, a question that opens the door to transformation none of you could have predicted. How you choose to respond in this pivotal moment will shape not only the paths of these three souls, but also the unfolding story of your own evolution, a journey into a destiny far greater than you've yet imagined. At the heart of this rare convergence, where vulnerability, truth, and transformation collide, you will be called to embody a new level of leadership and grace. The decision you make won't just affect these intimate connections. It will send ripples across the wider world, setting into motion waves of change that extend well beyond what you can currently see. This is more than a crossroads. It's a gateway to the expansive role you were always meant to play. Choosing grace in this moment means stepping fully into the mantle of a true leader, one who sees beyond judgment and resistance to the heart of transformation. By accepting the investigator's apology with compassion, you dismantle walls built on fear. By encouraging the admirer's courage to be vulnerable, you nurture seeds of authentic connection. By embracing the cynic's request for guidance, you offer a path from doubt to clarity. This choice doesn't just resolve tension, it weaves fractured threads into a tapestry of trust, turning discord into harmony and hesitation into profound growth. In this, you reveal the essence of what it means to be truly chosen, a beacon of light, guiding others from shadow into the fullness of their own truth. Choosing boundaries means honoring the breakthroughs they've made while firmly asserting the respect you deserve. It's a powerful reminder that authenticity isn't synonymous with unlimited tolerance, that being chosen is not an invitation to disregard your worth or trample your peace. By holding this line, you teach a vital lesson. Genuine integrity includes protecting your own energy and dignity. You show that true connection thrives not in chaos or compromise, but in mutual respect and clear expectations. This choice defines the strength it takes to be authentic without surrendering yourself, reinforcing that love and leadership walk hand in hand with healthy limits. Opting for selective engagement means navigating this complex web with both compassion and clarity, recognizing the unique journey each person is on and responding to them accordingly. It's a testament to your growing wisdom, showing that true strength lies not in treating everyone the same, but in discerning when to nurture, when to guide, and when to hold firm. This approach allows you to honor your own boundaries and values without closing the door on transformation. By meeting each person where they truly are, you create space for genuine growth while preserving the integrity of your own path, a delicate balance that only those truly chosen can master. No matter which path you choose, it will arise from a deep well of clarity, anchored in your true self, rather than swayed by impulse or external pressures. Rooted in your core values instead of reacting to the swirling emotions around you, your decision will be a powerful statement of who you are and what you stand for. This moment becomes more than a personal crossroads. It sets the standard and tone for the entire recognition revolution unfolding around you. Your choice will echo far beyond these immediate relationships, shaping not only the way others see you, but how authenticity, accountability, and transformation ripple through the lives touched by your example. The impact you've had on these 3 lives runs far deeper than shifting perceptions. It sparks a fundamental transformation in how they live, love, and relate to the world. Your unwavering example becomes a beacon of possibility, showing them that authenticity isn't just a lofty ideal, but a practical, transformative way of being. The real question no longer revolves around your belonging, but challenges you to step fully into the role you've earned. As the investigator evolves from skeptic to champion of genuine connection, their story will ripple outward, inspiring others in your wider circle to awaken and embrace the power of living true. This is the beginning of a legacy, one that carries the weight and light of your journey far beyond what you can yet imagine. The lives you've touched are shifting in ways that transcend mere opinion. They're rewriting their very approach to existence, inspired by the radical authenticity you embody. Your example has cracked open new possibilities, revealing a path of courage, integrity, and profound growth. The real question now isn't about your place among them. It's about how long you'll hesitate before stepping fully into the role you were destined to claim. As the investigator's journey evolves from doubt to devotion, their transformation will become a ripple spreading through your wider community, a living testament not only to your unshakable character, but also to the undeniable power of true personal awakening. The admirer's breakthrough will ripple far beyond their connection with you, unlocking a wellspring of courage to show up vulnerably in every relationship they hold. This emerging authenticity will become a beacon, encouraging those around them to shed their own masks and embrace honesty, openness, and the boldness to pursue genuine intimacy. As they step into this new truth, they'll see clearly that the fears that once shackled them, fears of inadequacy and rejection, were nothing more than shadows cast by their own insecurities, not reflections of how you or anyone else truly perceives them. Their transformation will light a path for others to follow, proving that worthiness is not earned, but always inherent. The admirer's shift from silent doubt to radiant authenticity will light a fire in others who have long been imprisoned by their own narratives of unworthiness, offering a living proof that change is possible. Meanwhile, the cynic embarks on a profound inner journey, one marked by honest self-reflection and a growing desire to align their values with their actions. This transformation will ripple through their circle, showing that no matter how entrenched skepticism or defense mechanisms may seem, they can be softened and reshaped by witnessing true integrity in action. Their evolution from guarded critic to sincere seeker will become a powerful testament that even the most hardened hearts can open, reminding everyone that authenticity is not reserved for the few, but is within reach for all willing to embrace it. As the story of these profound transformations begins to circulate, whispers of your impact will reach unexpected corners, drawing attention and admiration from people who never imagined you held such influence. The investigator's startling reversal will become a story told and retold, almost mythic in its power to upend doubt and reveal truth. Those who once sided with suspicion will grow curious, eager to uncover what sparked such a deep change of heart. This growing recognition will not only validate your journey, but will also plant seeds of possibility in the minds of many, proof that authenticity can challenge even the most entrenched skepticism and inspire a ripple effect far beyond what you ever anticipated. The tale of their investigation and the unexpected truth it unveiled will become your most compelling testament, eclipsing any formal endorsement or praise. Doors will begin to open with an almost mystical ease, not because you're chasing success, but because genuine authenticity naturally draws the right energy, much like light pulls everything into its orbit. As seekers of truth and alignment enter your life at perfectly timed crossroads, obstacles that once felt draining will dissolve effortlessly, and challenges that seemed insurmountable will become opportunities for growth. Beneath it all, a deeper awareness will awaken. You are being shaped and prepared for a greater purpose, one that transcends individual connections and reaches into a vast, unfolding destiny. Every trial you've faced, every moment of grace under pressure, has been a vital step toward this powerful emergence of recognition and influence. You'll come to see that your path toward authentic living was never solely for your own growth. It was a deliberate preparation to become a living beacon for others. Your example pierces through the noise, revealing a truth the world desperately craves: that unwavering integrity is attainable, that loyalty endures, and that genuine goodness is not a naive dream, but a tangible reality. This realization will deepen your sense of purpose as you recognize how your steadfast commitment to being unapologetically yourself has set off waves of transformation far beyond what you ever imagined. Those 3 lives you've touched will rise as ambassadors, carrying the flame of authenticity forward and igniting a powerful revolution that has the power to inspire countless others to awaken and step into their own truth. The recognition revolution sparked by your journey is only unfolding now, as your story of unwavering character and authentic living reaches more hearts and minds. You'll find yourself drawn into a role of leadership, not by ambition or design, but because the world is hungry for real examples of courage and truth. People will look to you as proof that transformation is possible when someone chooses to live fully aligned with their deepest self. This natural gravitation toward your light isn't about control or power. It's the magnetic call of authenticity, inspiring others to awaken, step forward, and embrace their own unique path with boldness and clarity. What began as humiliation for all involved will evolve into a profound liberation, each person shedding old burdens and stepping into new light. The investigator's shame for misjudging you will transform into deep gratitude for the invaluable lesson in seeing true character. The admirer's paralyzing fear of rejection will give way to a newfound appreciation for the safe space you foster, where vulnerability is welcomed and cherished. The cynic's hardened walls of isolation will crumble, replaced by excitement for the limitless possibilities that come with openness and trust. Your life will find a fresh, harmonious rhythm, one where your authenticity is no longer doubted, but embraced wholeheartedly. The energy once spent on defense will now flow freely into the greater mission you are destined to lead, propelling you toward your highest calling. People will begin to approach you in a new way, not with doubt or fear, but with genuine curiosity and deep respect. They'll seek to understand the roots of your unwavering integrity and the daily practices that bring your authenticity to life. Soon, you'll realize that the recognition you're receiving transcends personal acclaim. It's a reflection of the powerful symbol you've become. You embody the profound possibility of a life where actions mirror values, words echo truth, and the outer world aligns seamlessly with the wisdom held within. In this way, you stand as a living testament to the transformative power of authentic living, inspiring others to follow suit. The three individuals whose paths are converging with yours will continue evolving, each becoming beacons of authenticity within their own worlds, inspiring those around them to step into their truth. You'll come to realize that being chosen isn't about possessing extraordinary gifts or supernatural powers. It's about embodying yourself so fully and unapologetically that you naturally invite others to reconsider what it means to live authentically. Like a tuning fork resonating with pure truth amid a world of noise, your presence gently disrupts falsehoods, not through confrontation, but because the frequency of genuine authenticity makes all pretense feel discordant and unsustainable. Your existence becomes a quiet catalyst, encouraging everyone nearby to find harmony with their own deepest truths. What starts as a moment of humiliation will soon become the bedrock of a powerful recognition, one that steadily expands and radiates outward in ways you never could have imagined. From this unexpected beginning will emerge opportunities for deep connection, profound growth, and meaningful transformation. These ripples will touch lives far beyond your immediate circle, weaving a network of authenticity and awakening that grows stronger with each passing day. This unfolding journey will prove that even the most difficult moments can serve as the seeds for something far greater than you ever planned or predicted. You are exactly who you claim to be, and soon the world will see it too. This revelation will ignite a profound shift, changing everything it touches. The revolution of authenticity is poised to burst forth, and you stand at its very center, both the spark and the undeniable proof that a different way of living, not just possible, but immensely powerful, is here. Embrace this moment, chosen one. Your destiny is unfolding, and the long-awaited phase of recognition is ready to awaken.